many lies, too many lies. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Yo, it's too many. Hey, it's too many. Yo, it's too many. Yo, it's too many lies. Look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth. Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. It's young conscious, you, my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking around, I'm on the move, I'm checking the deuce. Yeah, it's only us two, so you know we copping that coupe. We on the roof, smoking dope, look at the view. Yeah, we used to chill on the stoop, now we out here breaking the news. It ain't shit you really could do, cause we ain't got nothing to lose. We ain't switched side with no cruise, we just stayed out of the loop. Now we out here letting it loose, every shot we took it was swoosh. Gotta get it, ain't no excuse, ain't shit left to prove. Hey, yeah. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies, too many lies. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies, too many, it's too many. Hey, it's too many. Yo, it's too many.
Yeah. Ask them a real question, yeah, I bet it's all lies. Hey, they won't cross that line for a fact that's offsides. Hey, too much penalties when they run this back, yeah, it's fines. Hey, could have been here with us, but we do not force no vibes. Hey, she gon' try to whip and let me park it in the driveway. They just want the praise like they Yahweh. Getting so much bread, yeah, the ride way. We done already won, yeah, that's worth the ride way. But they still lying right through their teeth, and they still hiding behind many troops. They was D9, watch my every move, tell them keep fine. Leave that shit on scene, I ain't replying. Less I know you, that don't mean I'm Hollywood. That just mean I'm Hollywood. All y'all, I probably stood on the falls, all cause. More times I probably should. I don't know nobody like us. You see how much time it took?
Yeah. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies, too many lies. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies, too many, it's too many. Hey, it's too many. Yo, it's too many.
Hey, it's too many lies. Hey, yeah, ISO, Indies, Dama.
What? That was pretty cool. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all, I haven't had time to do anything. I'm hungry. So, I got Jason to watch the the rest of the rest of Joseph Murray's testimony because he had left, and so I was like, oh my god. OUR entered the chat officially. And I mean, it's really, hey guys, I hope y'all are doing good too. Pot stirrers unite, right? Well, this is nuts, y'all. It's blowing my mind. I know. I mean, I worry about the testimony. I mean, not worry. I want to go over the testimony as well. But y'all know I do more of the connection side of it. You can get commentary on what they said today or each day. You know what I mean? You know where to go for that. That's not really my thing. I like to analyze it and rip it apart. And I like to make connections. Obviously, I didn't know, but that's what I do. It's how my brain works. Anyway, so I mean, basically today we had Emma Daybell testify, right? We had Garth Daybell testify, right? We had Joseph Murray testify, and he goes back on the stand tomorrow. So, yeah, I know. I had thought about that too, S.L. Connolly, when they said it, when Taylor Ballard, that was her last name, and she testified. I mean, and I was just like, wouldn't that be something, But I mean, really nothing is off the table right now, so I thought for sure I had seen this a long time ago, and it was the post that I found in one of the Facebook groups covering the case. Leanne Hicks, and it's Doomsday, but this one was like a private one. And I remember seeing Joseph Murray, the post about Joseph Murray. So, an OUR, and I'm gonna go ahead and play that sound clip while it'll give me some time to kinda get things together back here. And we need to listen to it. I haven't listened to it in its entirety, but let's just listen to, um, Joseph Murray. I gotta grab it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it, damn it. Okay. Okay. Aspect. That's not really large enough for you to can y'all see? It's not clear on my end. Like, whenever I show this much of the screen, it doesn't look like it's clear. It looks blurry. So, I'll make it this aspect, and now I can see it. But this is just to kinda show y'all, when you look up Rexburg race Joseph Murray, I mean, even without putting Joseph Murray in there, yeah, it still comes up with a great deal of info. I can't even believe this is still here. Usually stuff disappears at 404s and checks out. They erase it. Scrubbing bubbles is what I call it. Um, it's another way of gaslighting people too. It's like, no, you didn't see that here. Nothing to see here. And I mean, if you've gone and watched Nuance Ho about Ryan Fisher, okay? Ryan Fisher's interview, he says that whenever the Mormon church, Elder Ballard, I'm talking the upper echelon. It's like being in the Pope's office, okay, to a Catholic. This is huge, huge. So, but whenever Ryan Fisher, he was a friend, associate of Tim Ballard, and I've actually shared, he had on his channel, Ryan Fisher, I don't have all this stuff lined up, so, but he had a popular channel for Mormons, I guess you could say, and it was called Nephite Explorer. Very particular and specific to Mormonism, okay? Nephite. And a while back, I don't even know, less than 2 months ago, I'd say. Maybe less, for sure. Um, I don't know, I turned my TV on and on YouTube, and I saw Ryan Fisher, and I don't know who this guy is, didn't subscribe to him, but he just popped up in my suggested videos, and it said something about Joseph Smith. Tim Ballard thinks he's Joseph Smith reincarnated, and I was like, "Well, you know, that's basically what I've done the last 5 years." I got my Kool-Aid. Right. So if my teeth and my lips turn red. Anyways, so I clicked on the video, I watched it, and it had just come out an hour before that, and I was like, "Oh my god, this guy is, like, just telling everything that I had been, like, just the end goal. What's the end goal of all of these people in and around Daybell's circle, right?" And whenever I watched him, and then I broke it down with you guys later. I had scheduled a live, and we went over his video. And ever since then, Nuance Ho, she's an ex-Mormon in the ex-Mormon community. She's really specific or honed in on Rod Meldrum, the Firm Foundation, the Firm Expo, um, preparing a people, kind of. But the same crowd. It's the same crowd. It's the same people over and over again. And so she had interviewed him, Ryan. She interviewed Ryan Fisher after I had found that video and everything. And one of the things that whenever he went to a meeting with Tim Ballard and met with Russell Ballard, the tippity top. I mean, um, they were talking about, and so Russell Ballard, like his whole connection, his whole, I guess, job, I don't know, as an apostle of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was to get new members. Okay. So it makes the whiteboard meeting, aka the whiteboard prophecy, all that more relevant and real. Because when you take all these things and you put them in the context of Chad and Lori Daybell, when you filter those things through, when you filter through and you add Tom Harrison and Visions of Glory. Okay. And then you add the strong connection between Tom Harrison, Tim Ballard, and Russell Ballard, Gordon Bowen from the Hamblin case, Jody Hildebrandt, Ken Krogh. I don't know if I just said that, but and Chad and Julie, right? Whatever. And Visions of Glory, just the book, the references, the portals. Okay, portals. Okay, so it's when you take all those things and you're like, what the hell? I know this is related over here, but I mean, they're all like, they all came out separately. And I mean, I really wouldn't believe this if I hadn't done this myself. Really, I would be like, whatever, you're crazy. But I mean, let me get this going so I can hush. I'm gonna stop nervous talking. Okay, let me. Oh, I was like, what? I thought it already went away. Do I have to? Okay. Where's the damn play button?
Spring is in the air, and hot temperatures are
You
knocking
know
at the
it.
door. That's why, for a limited time, AirTech
know where
AC
the-
and Plumbing is offering a $69 tune-up special to make sure you are ready for the
There
hot
we go.
months
Down
ahead.
here.
Our
Sorry. Y'all. Okay. So while this plays, I'm going to line up some more things to talk about, okay? Let's see. Where's that?
double offer today. Call
Hurry up. Oh, it tells me right there. Y'all tired? All right. This is Joseph Murray on BYU-Idaho Radio.
Volunteer with the organization OUR and the director of Rexburg Rescue Run. It's an event that's going on this weekend, and we're really grateful that you're here today. So we kind of wanted to get some more information about the organization that's kind of putting on this event. What does OUR stand for?
OUR stands for
Joseph
the
Murray.
fight against human trafficking throughout the world. It's a global organization. It goes throughout all the dark areas of the world and goes and rescues children and other individuals who are caught in this trade.
All right.
Like Tylee and
that's
JJ?
kind of their purpose and what they stand for. And it's for Operation Underground Railroad, right? Is the name of it.
Correct.
But like
correct.
you said, it focuses more on trafficking versus the old understanding of what the Underground Railroad used to be. So I understand that you guys have that upcoming race, like I said. It's going to be this weekend in Rexburg. So what inspired you guys to have this race?
So I actually ran the race that was put on for this organization in the past. Actually, it was in 2017. And I had messaged the page to ask them if they were going to do it again. And they said that, that they didn't have the time to do it, the person that had done it in the past, and said that if anybody else wanted to do it, they would support them. And after contemplating and talking with my wife for a little bit, we decided that this was something I could do. I've always wanted to put on a race, but really I wanted to support this great cause as I came to know about it more.
Awesome.
Who is Joseph?
And so with that, how long are the races like this for this event?
So the longest race is a half marathon, 13.1 miles. The second longest is our 10K, which is 6.2 miles, and then the 5K, which is 3.1 miles. And then we also are doing a kids 1 mile run, and that one is actually free of charge for any kids ages 4 through 12.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. So everybody and the whole family can get involved. That's
Exactly.
great.
And it comes with a free shirt for the kids as well.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. That's awesome. And so I know it's in Rexburg, but where is the race route running through or around for those? Maybe they're not running, but they want to be aware of where it's at so they can kind of deal with the traffic, I guess.
So it'll start over by Smith Park. It will be on the corner of 3rd East and 1st North.
Okay.
Is where the race will start.
Weird
it will
name.
then go up North Hill Road, up over to Barney Dairy Road, and kind of over into Moody, and then it'll come back around. So it'll be out mostly in the country, not a lot of city traffic. There will be a little bit over kind of by the Public Health Center.
Okay.
That will have a little bit of the race, but for most of it, it'll be out in the country.
Okay. So that's kind of nice. And so, like you were talking about a little bit earlier, kind of the mission of the OUR organization. What would running this race help them do?
That's a great question. The money that the proceeds that we are able to acquire through this race will actually help fund their future missions that they do throughout the world. Since OUR is actually a nonprofit organization, they don't get any, they don't have any monetary
Oh yeah.
means. And so
Oh,
this helps to further
shit.
their rescues throughout the world. And not only does OUR go out and rescue, they also are able
Big
to
time.
give the aftercare to these individuals that need it. For example, if they need some psychological help, some counseling,
Say Tom
they're
Harrison.
able to help them with that. They're able to, in fact, there was a lady who was rescued and needed some orthodontic care. OUR was
damn it,
able
Dennis.
to fundraise money to help that individual after the fact to be able to get the care that she needed.
Okay, great. And so, how much does it cost to enter the race?
So for our 5K, it is $20. Our 10K is $25, and then our half marathon is $35. And again, the kids 1 mile is free.
Okay, awesome. And so, where can people go to sign up for the race if they want to join the fight?
So they can go to raceentry.com is where our races sign up is at, or if they are having a hard time finding it, the registration link is on our Facebook page at Rexburg Rescue Run.
All right, great. Yeah, because I know, like you mentioned, it's been called other things in the past. So I want to very clearly say like the name where they can find it now, because getting the information is really important. And so what time does the race begin? And it's on Saturday, correct?
It is
September
Saturday. Yep.
7th.
It begins at
2019.
8:00 a.m.
Okay. And are you guys going to start the half, or everybody starts at 7?
So at 8 a.m. the half will start, and then 8:30 will be the 10K. 9 o'clock will be the 5K, and then the kids 1 mile will be at 9:45.
Oh, okay, great.
So every half hour except
Perfect. And so, if you've never run a 5K or an event like this, what should you expect as a runner if you decide to sign up?
that you aren't required to run the whole way. This race, luckily, isn't just about competition. It's about supporting a great cause. So if you want to walk the 5K, you're more than welcome to walk the 5K.
Like if you're Tammy.
In fact, we have my parents are doing the 5K walking, and then there is a OUR volunteer. Her name is Robin Freeman. She's also doing the walking of the 5K. So you don't have to be a runner to join.
That's awesome. And so the weather's looking really good for this weekend. So hopefully it holds and all that kind of stuff. So that's perfect. And then, like you said, they can go online to sign up. And then what if people don't necessarily like to run, but they want to get involved with the cause as far as OUR is concerned? That's
a great question. OUR is always looking for volunteers. And especially this run, we're looking for any volunteer help that anybody might want to donate to the cause. They don't have to run or even walk. They can just volunteer their time if they would like.
Just run that wallet.
Okay. And how would they go about doing that?
If they would contact me through Facebook on Rexburg Rescue Run, I will be able to set them up with my volunteer coordinator.
Okay, that's great.
You got a volunteer
coordinator. So even if you don't want to run, but you just want to help out, and then
Mm.
obviously you can always donate just online, I believe, through their organization.
Correct.
To be able to help them out. And so if somebody had never heard of the organization, what would you kind of tell them about it to kind of explain what is going on?
So globally, the largest growing industry is actually child pornography.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it's a very sad thing that that's the case. And the United States is one of the greatest consumers of it. And so Operation Underground Railroad actually goes and acts the part to be able to break these operations. And they're able to rescue these little children. The organization was founded by Tim Ballard. He used to work for the federal government, and he actually oversaw some the
Not very good at
human
this.
trafficking for that area. But then he realized his hands were a bit tied because there was only so much he could do, and it was within the United States. He couldn't go and help those that were being
But he can raise money here.
abused
make sense?
in that way by even our own citizens. And so he wanted to do more. And so he founded Operation Underground Railroad. In fact, there is a documentary that is on Amazon Prime. It's called Operation Toussaint. And that gives the best description for what OUR stands for. It shows what they do, how they help, and you'll be able to have a lot better understanding.
Thank you so much for sharing that information. And so, yeah, is there any other information that you'd like to share today with us?
Mostly we'd like to thank our sponsors, and number one, our greatest sponsors, actually, the Pediatric Place. They are the ones that made this event possible so that we can make this cause go forth.
Awesome. That's great. All right. Thank you so much for being here again, Josh. With byu-Idaho Radio, I'm Cammie Judd.
You just called him Josh. Just kidding.
Thanks for starting your day with byu-Idaho Radio. I'm Ted Drinkwater with your morning headlines for Monday, March 25th, 2024.
Oh my God, okay, I'm sorry. She just called him Josh straight up. That was kind of funny. His name is Joseph Murray. And he didn't seem to be it was Joe Murray, yeah, on BYU-I Radio here. And that was Joe Murray, right? Now I forget what he called, I think a volunteer coordinator. I'm sorry, I'm taking notes at the same time. I haven't had time to do all this yet. Volunteer coordinator was Robin Freeman. He said their biggest sponsor, I would say, besides networking and like-minded people in the church. Okay. Just saying, because this all goes back to M. Russell Ballard. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know. It is what it is. And it all goes back to the whiteboard meeting, which, have you ever heard of the white horse prophecy? I call it the whiteboard prophecy instead of the white horse prophecy, because that's them. This is them, Okay, so the Pediatric Place is their biggest sponsor, he just said. So let's do some research. And BYU-I is pushing it. And the Rexburg races, let's go look at some media. Here we go. Oh, never mind. I have to sign in there, so can't do that one. Let's do this one. All right, so so huge. Let's back that out. Now, the date is what is interesting to me, because this was just a day or so before Tylee was murdered. And we can link for JJ, the weekend that JJ was murdered, we can link the Firm Expo. That was going down in Rexburg the weekend, 2 weeks after this. Okay. 2 weeks after September 7th, 2019 was when David and Melanie went separately. They showed up separately to Lori Vallow's apartment. The care.com nanny was there to watch JJ while Alex and Lori went and picked Melanie up. Okay. This is nuts. I'm telling you, it's like it's sinking in also at the same time. So they go all the way up there. It's a big to-do. Like Melanie Gibb is there from a Wednesday or a Thursday? I think it was a Thursday, all the way until Monday morning. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's 4 days. That's like a staycation with Melanie Gibb. I can imagine. And so David Warwick drives all the way up to Rexburg, but he's like, oh no, John Miller, and Rigby, Idaho, and all his shit. Okay. I wish I had all this pulled together now. But so he goes up there and he says that, Lori's like, just stay at my house again, stayed at my house down there in Arizona, when we did the castings for my husband, Charles. Yeah, remember him? Ned? I'm sorry. You might know him as Ned. Anyways, and so these people are just going places, and the only thing I can say, just to be general and not really, because I don't quite know what to call it yet, besides they may not be publicly worshiping the Dark Lord. They obviously are. Okay. I think it's safe to say that. And I think what's happening here is that they are using, again, I said it right at the very end of that other, the live stream just from earlier today from the trial. I think what they're doing is using these conferences, these speaking engagements, nobody cares about the damn Book of Mormon that much. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, nobody cares about anything this much, okay? It's the guys, the GUISE, okay? They're doing this under false assumption, like false advertisement, even false promotion. They are just, and I mean, they do talk about the stuff, but I mean, it's not, sorry, it just doesn't grab me at all. I mean, you can listen to Jason Mao talk, you can listen to all these speakers talk, Rod Meldrum. I mean, they're boring. Boring. I've done it for 5 years. Okay. My brain is melted. So I'm just like, what's really going on here? And I mean, like, Jen went and checked out a Firm Expo, which I mean, I have those 2 videos on my channel also. And Lauren with Hidden True Crime, she also went to the same one. And I mean, you get 2 different, or not totally different, but you get 2 different aspects into people knowing this case and then going in knowing about these organizations. Okay. Like, what's the big deal here? What's going on at these conferences? Well, there's a lot going on at these conferences, as if you listen to the interview with Hidden True Crime and Sean Little Bear, it's basically a hookup. Okay. They're just like, what up? Eric Smith, I want to say, said something about it too. And Girl on Fire as well. So, I mean, it's quite a few stories, Nora Jasmine did a video about this is basically a Mormon swingers club. And I mean, whatever, do what you do. But there's people dying, and there's something bigger than even that going on, basically. And this is so hard to talk about because I'm sure, and I don't even know, because I'm not political. I'm just not. I really don't. I'm just like, I don't want to choose between the lesser of 2 crappy people. Okay, so just have it. I just, it doesn't make sense to me in my mind. So I don't really understand it all. Besides power plays, it seems to be a big power play. And I mean, I understand too that in order for me to change laws, procedures, policies, advocate, things like that, I've got to go through the law, through politics, through those kind of platforms and systems. So, I mean, this is such a weird spot, because now the kids went missing. I'm so sorry. The kids went missing. It became public December 20th, 2019. And I just go blank. If I look at myself, I go blank for sure, because I'm like, when I look around, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it is not uncommon for people to cheat on their spouses when they go to a conference. Shake my head. I can only imagine what that's like for LDS Church. They are not liking what's going on right now. And the fact that here we go. Let's just kind of take it from the top in a very generalized way from Kresha. Okay. You have 2 kids go missing. You have, there's obviously the Rexburg, Madison, all the police departments over there in Idaho and down there in Chandler. but I'm focusing more over here in Idaho. I haven't been able to focus too much on Arizona, even though I had a feeling. I'm like, oh my God, I know Arizona's probably more corrupt. But you know what? I really don't. I think they're all just as crappy. Every place has their level of corruption. And I just never knew that I would see so much corruption in this case. And that to me is alarming. It's alarming. So what do? As a family member, I feel like, and I'm just being honest, I don't think I'm special. I don't think I'm elevated. I don't think it's not about me. You know what I'm saying? But it is about what I've researched and what I have been bringing to you guys every time we meet. It's about the things that we are learning as this has progressed over the last 5 years almost. It is some weird things, a lot of ceilings going on in the case, and I don't know what to compare. I have no basis to, like, nothing to compare that to, because I don't. This is my first time experiencing all this. So I mean, it's just like, well, where do you go from here? I don't have a base level, and you just kind of learn. I've kind of learned through going through this with you guys, talking about it, researching it, looking into other cases, looking, elsewhere, doing everything we can to get justice through understanding, right? A lot of things don't sit well with me. Just being me, family member, whatever. There's the whole thing about, I always knew that, like, East Idaho News was tipped off, and, that's why they knew to be in Hawaii. Then, I mean, Nate, he tells he tells the story. And, this, again, just, I have these people that are adjudicating this case, down to law enforcement, down to the clerk of courts. I mean, look over there at Myrtle. All right. You see what happens over there. It's everywhere. So this is not a personal attack. This is just me being real. Okay. And not really knowing how to handle the weird things, because I don't just have a personal relationship with these people, with prosecutor, with law enforcement. I've met them. However, they're not like on speed dial. I've never felt compelled to carry on a conversation with them. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So when you're on this side of it, when you're on this side of the crime and this side of Mormonism, and by that I mean I'm not an active Mormon. I'm a never Mormon. I've never been Mormon. Never going to be Mormon either. It's a system, and it's a very wealthy and powerful system. And I don't care who you are, what rock you can hide under. You cannot escape the power and the wealth, the control, the power that has. It has the power to silence people. All systems, they have the power to silence people and, just mute them, gas, and make people, say they're crazy, they're QAnon. Again, I just said QAnon, and I don't even really know what it is. I just know I've seen it a little bit in my peripheral, because I mean, look at the shit that I've researched, and so I'm sure that people would label me as that. And you know what? Fuck it. F it. Here I am. Because I mean, I don't have like a motive here. Like, I don't have an end game. I wanted to get to the bottom of it. I wanted to see where the religion differed from Chad and Lori, and it doesn't. Okay. We heard that today. For sure. From Emma, from Garth. We know that, but it's, when you hear it, you're just like, yeah, I know. All right. You're all telling the truth about that. So it's like, okay, it really doesn't come down to the castings, and I mean, it does, but they don't really, I don't know. If I kind of go back and forth. I was about to say it, and then it just, my body said no. I teeter-totter with, do they believe this? Do they not believe this? Or is it just like everything else that they do? Do they exploit it? And I mean, the the scales of, the scale is like way, it's heavy. Okay. Cause I really think that they're just like all delusional or something. What the hell is really going on? But it's so many people involved, you know? It would be a huge conspiracy because from the stuff I've researched, um, the stuff I've researched, it, there's people there, and I mean, just like through the Hamblin case or whatever in Utah, one of the original satanic panic cases. Okay, so take away the satanic element, and you have one raging case of corruption and child abuse cover up. Okay, child sexual abuse cover up and murder and alleged murder and just all these things. And that is from southern Utah, where Chad is from. Okay. Chad was a grave digger. Now, and I want to, again, I'm trying to figure out the right point, like how to, how do I infiltrate? Okay. So I have a friend, a dear friend that I love to death, and she is from Arizona, and she had told me one day that she had talked to her neighbor, and it was her neighbor's mom too. Okay. And she's an older lady. And this lady she was old, but I mean, her mental capacity was right there. Okay. She's on point. And just, I can't recall everything right now, but the older lady, she asked my friend, like, whatever, what are you into these days? And she was like, oh, the Daybell case. And she was like, Jack Daybell and the Meldrum crematorium. And I'm like, what? So she told me that. And so, I mean, again, it's not corroborated. It's just like, how does this 80, 90 some year old lady, just be like, oh, yeah. And so you're like, okay, I haven't gone back that far yet. But you would have to, because this is also infiltrated and exploited, is the genealogical family. Okay. I mean, they're all into it. That my family was allegedly, you know what I mean, like raided from my genealogy. So it's like, I haven't gone there yet. I've just kind of gone 50,000 different ways. And I mean, it's raining, like it's all coming together right now. And so that's a lot too, because you like don't want to be right. Yeah. The satanic panic. Yeah. And so I've just dabbled in these things, like the McMartin family. I mean, McMartin family, the McMartin preschool case. And so some people will straight up like be like, those people were innocent. And I'm just like, what? Do you hear what you're saying? Was it a technicality? And they're like, well, none of these cases have ever been prosecuted. And I'm like, that's because you don't mix church and state. You can't, you know what I mean? They don't go together. There's supposed to be a separation of that. And this is kind of this is what's going on. In my opinion, this is what's going on. There are these things happening, and it's horrible abuse. It's horrible murder. I mean, it's more like murder. It's exploitation. It's totally manipulating a lot of masses. Okay, masses, and these people who get duped by them will, like we just watched or listened to Joseph Murray and Tim Ballard, and they will support this cause, because who wouldn't get behind anti-child sex trafficking, which is also exploited by these people? So then you see, like over here, whenever Sound of Freedom came out, I was like, mm-mm. I mean, it's like a punch in the gut because I know that it's connected to Tylee and JJ and Charles and Tammy's murders, but the kids especially. And they're all tooting, just all over the world, just knocking out box offices and everything. And everybody loves, who wouldn't get behind that? Who wouldn't get behind Jesus? Okay, is what I'm saying. But it's these people that are not, they're like in disguise. They are either that or they are just really, really, really confused people. Look at Ruby Frankie, y'all. I'm not a naughty girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Go write it down for the rest of your time in prison. Yes, you are. You're a very naughty, very naughty and disturbed individual. And so, but it's learned. It's a learned behavior. It's taught generation. So there's these families and these names that I don't know. I'm a stickler for names, right? And I'm trying to figure out now. This is where I also am a little torn. I'm just like, okay, I don't have this figured out yet. But let me do this. Satanic Panic was fun in Utah. That whole story Kevin Frankie said about the flying dishes, I've heard that from numerous Mormons. If someone is playing with Ouija board or tarot cards or heavy metal. Oh, I found something last night, Ravina, actually made me think of you. And this is really what this, but it's boring. Nobody's going to really want to talk about it. It needs to be talked about, though. I do have it pulled up. All right, let me hide me back here. So just bear with me. I'll just show y'all so that y'all aren't just sitting here staring at me. You can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, I think this, I don't even know what book this is from. Because I it looked up documents or whatever. So it just groups all the photos that look like documents, right? So, but I mean, I started reading it and I was like, oh shit. And I just haven't looked at the source yet. But I mean, it is in my stash of Mormonism that I have here saved for 5 years. I'm gonna need a damn mountain just like them so I can have a vault. Just kidding. All right. But I mean, there's so many different things in here that I'm like, oh my God, yes. It says it over and over and over again in all of the literature, all of the scriptures, all of it. And I mean, I'm like, well, this right here, this proves it, And then, but it's everywhere. It's flipping everywhere. Let's do one. Let's see. It says the LDS. Hold on. This talks about exaltation. Okay, I don't even know where to jump in. Personal sin involves the willful disobedience of a person towards the commands and person of God. The natural consequence of sin is the separation from God. Because of our sins, we cannot return to the presence of God, who is all holy and cannot tolerate sin to the least degree. As with physical death, the spiritual death or separation from God short circuits our ability to progress towards exaltation. Essentially, what occurs in sinning is that we shape our characters in ways that are incompatible with living the kind of life that God lives. I gotta take a sip. I already lost my spot. Okay. And the bad news of sin is that we are helpless to make reparation for our evil choices, to make the kind of infinite atonement necessary to return to God's presence. However, when speaking on the subject of sin, it needs to be emphasized that according to LDS doctrine, the descendants of Adam and Eve do not inherit their guilt or sin. The original transgression of Adam and Eve is imputed. I don't even know how to say that. Inputted to them alone. Human persons are only guilty for their own personal sins. This is LDS view. In view of the foreseen merits of Christ, Adam and Eve were forgiven after they had repented of their original transgression. You know what I think? I think that's because in the LDS theology, they became gods themselves, okay? They had their calling and election made sure, so to speak, they received the second anointing, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. Okay? That's where this is going to go, kind of. Human persons are only guilty for their own person. Okay, did I already say all that? Yeah. Were forgiven after they had repented of their original transgression. So Adam and Eve took it for the rest of the LDS, all of mankind. Okay, so anyway, so it says, furthermore, because of the merits of Christ's atonement, all persons born into the world are born in a saved state. So, I mean, just like in other religions, Catholics, you get christened as a baby. And then you can make your first communion when you're like 7, 8 years old. And then you're, I can't think of the word. Oh my gosh. It starts with a C. I can't think of it. Confirmation. Okay. Okay. So in other words, through the grace of Christ's atoning sacrifice, original sin of Adam and Eve does not touch or affect any other person. Sin only becomes a reality in a child's life when it has reached the age of accountability, which is age 8. JJ was 7, Tylee was 16, and can freely choose for itself between good and evil. Prior to reaching this age of accountability, little children are natural heirs of exaltation. And again, I've also, watched a lot of people's stories and a lot of different accounts. And this seems to be a very influential age. Not only are you born into the religion, but here you are at age 8, and this big responsibility and decision is on you. And you want to please your parents. You want to please everybody, your adults in your life, right? As a child. And so that's huge. And they don't even know, when you're 8 years old, you don't know what the hell you are signing up for. Straight up. So I guess this is their way of, exploiting that too, and taking advantage of, and just starting to warp the mind and control the mind, brainwash. It's so sad. And so this 8-year, let's say you're 8 and you're just all in, CTR, choose the right. You just want to please everybody, especially God, right? That's what you're taught. And then again, it's like they're set up to fail, because then you end up like Chad, and you're really into the early doctrines of the church, so to speak. And so when you get there, you're on your way out. Okay. One way or another, you're on your way out. Look at Ian Pulowski, look at Melanie Pulowski. They're pretty much out. And some people will say, well, that's because they were excommunicated. And that's not the case at all. Not at all. Okay. So, I'm trying to figure out right here. Wherefore little children are whole for their. Okay, hold on. I'll have to share it with you later, because I'm getting way too off topic. But here, yeah, I made these two. Everybody's been asking me, and I'm like, yeah, I made this, but she just looks just like Elsa. Okay, can we just say that? Yeah, she might be mocking her stepmommy, but I don't know. Maybe she did it to please her husband. Just kidding. Hell, I don't know. I was also the Alex Cox video from that Summer had made after he died. Alex died. And I caught a couple screenshots from it. And here's Melanie, right? She's right here. And so this is Alex. This is Lori. This is Janice, a baby. And this is Melanie's babies. This is Barry. Look at him. I mean, he just looks like in a dark little corner over there. And it kind of freaked me out. I was like, that's pretty dark. pretty dark. Oh, here. If you know, you know. Drop in the comments down below. Anyways. Haha. Gotta laugh every now and then, right? We hate your books. Okay. This also, let's see. Oh, okay. So this is preparing a people. This is, like a screenshot from early, like when this case first happened in 2019. Preparing a people shifted. This is from their site. And so, I mean, right here at the top, it says helping to prepare the people of this earth for the second coming of Jesus Christ. It says it right there. They are accelerationalists, okay? They're doomsdayers. They are preppers. They're not really, I don't really like to say they're preppers because, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not about prepping. It's about instilling fear and maybe preying on people and making them your victim, murdering people. It's about exploiting people. That's these people. Okay. That's Tom Harrison. That's Tim Ballard. That's allegedly, I'm just going to say, that's Chad Daybell, Lori. It's Jason Mao. It's all these people. Okay. This type of people. This is the Hamblins. This is Ruby and Jody. These people are the closest word I've came to describing what they're doing is, and so I don't really know the definition of it. I haven't looked it up or anything to figure it out, but Satanism. And people will say, "Well, I don't worship Satan." Okay. Well, that's the weird part. That's the hard part to be like, "Well, you obviously are," So it's like I don't even know what to. I'm just gonna call it that until I figure it out from there. But they may not be worshiping Satan, but they're definitely practicing, and yeah, they are. They are. I mean, they're just. I don't know. It's crazy. This is the weirdest thing ever. So, in 2019, Preparing a People shifted priorities to focus mainly on editing and creating the Book of Mormon evidence streaming service. Okay, that's Rod Meldrum. Book of Melvin. Okay, Book of Mormon evidence streaming, or Book of Mormon evidence org conferences. That's Rod Meldrum. He also runs legacy tours, and he's a Heartlander. He's all about the Heartland model, basically saying that the Book of Mormon took place in the United States, in North America. Okay, straight up, just okay. Jesus was here, and he's coming back here. So, I mean, within Mormonism, there's the Mesa American guys, and then there's Rod Meldrum and the Heartland model or whatever. But it all has to do with these burial mounds, right? Indian burial mounds. Okay. I'm learning a little bit. So I'm not very sharp with all this. Okay. But one day I will be able, oh, my earbud was here. Anyway, I was hoping you would go live tonight. Well, here I am. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Oh, yeah, that too. Shauna Jane Belrose says, on a more serious note, I feel like it has more to do with alchemical. I don't know how to say that. That doesn't sound right. Alchemy, I would say. Practices of Freemasons. There are two paths, as above, so below. There's the left-hand path and the right-hand path. And I mean, it's obvious to me. Ooh, Chad. So this would mean that Jack and Sheila would most likely have had to have taught, in my theory here, Jack and Sheila, Chad Daybell's parents, would have to teach this to their children. Okay. Meaning Chad. But then that puts Matt in there too. And I'm just like, what's going on there? Because Heather's a stand-up person. She's pot stirrer, right? But then I'm like, well, what is going on? And it's just so much. It's so much. I'm trying. I'm trying to be careful. It's difficult research. So it's not even really a church problem. Okay. It's the good old boys club problem. It's in every religion, and that's why they hang out, and that's why they're they're already infiltrated. So I know that some people are like, and I used to look at the church leaders just like this, and they're not my church leaders. But I mean, when I was going into this and I started to research into Mormonism, I was like, they're church guys, like if I were in trouble, where would I go? You're supposed to go up the chain of commands or whatever. Did I say that right? Some things just don't sound right some days. And so just kind of like what my Uncle Charles did. He went to ecclesiastical leader, yeah, the bishop, Gabe Benia, and he went to the police. But there's corruption on every level here. And I do believe that Gabe Benia, the bishop, he's very much one and of the same. So like I said, there's so many people. It would have to be a very huge conspiracy. Because there's so many things at play here, so many different moving parts. I mean, we were thinking just the cult, and you're like, oh shit, so it's more than two people, right? It's more than Chad, it's more than Lori, but none of these other people are being held accountable. Okay. So two people are going up the, up the stream or whatever. But what about the damn rest of them? What about the rest of them? Okay. What about Melanie Gibb and her concern allegedly with Rob Wood exchanging almost 400 texts talking about protecting the church? He is a national syndicate. Okay. Keith Dan Morrison. Right. So, I mean, it goes to the tippity top, and then you think about all the other cases, mainstream, they exploit. And so all these news organizations and everything, they exploit this over and over and over again. This is okay. I heard Nate, and look, I'm just being real. I heard Nate Eaton last night on his Courtroom Insider say that that was season 1 and season 2, and that'll be season 3. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Like he's going to go to the Arizona trial too. And I'm like, really? Do you have to? I mean, I don't like the exploitation part of it. It's pretty sickening. And this builds their careers. It put Nate Eaton on the map. Yeah, he did the journalistic work, but he also got tips. Okay. Think about these things. And if people don't too much think further, again, you have to pull that first layer back, and then you're like, son of a bitch. And that's why you're here, I'm assuming. So it's like, there is the news organizations. Are not exploited. They are, oh yeah. They're like 6, I don't know. It's crazy how it just goes into 6 different people who own all the news organizations around the world. And I mean, right here, YouTube daddy here. We're censored. Okay. I have to go around the little tricky words. I stopped putting Mormon and LDS in my tags, and that makes me wonder. But that was after last week I'd covered Melanie Boudreaux Pulaski, and I mean that it's got 11,000 views, and I'm like, I ain't never. That doesn't happen here. Okay, but I changed the keywords after that, so I don't really know what it is. You just kind of have to finagle with it. And it's like, I don't want to drop my stance because this is LDS, this is Mormonism. And just because they own the damn things, I don't want to, I don't want to bend, I want to stand my ground because they've already taken my family. They're okay with it. They're okay with exploiting it. They're okay with making careers for themselves. They're okay with making moolah, lots and lots and lots and lots of moolah. And it is money, it is power, and by God, it is sex. So, I mean, that's this whole sex trafficking thing. Tylee and JJ were sex trafficked, turns out, and that's the first time I've said that out loud, I think. So it's really troubling. And I mean, it's even hard to explain to my parents, because you got to peel the layers back, and they're so close in the situation that you know they don't see how I see it. I don't see how they see. I don't see how you see it. Everybody's experience is different, but I mean, this is sick. This is bad. And maybe I'm really late to the party, but I wish that I could. I mean, if I could get one wish out of this or whatever, um, it would be, I mean, my whole point on being on here is to find out, uh, crowdsource, put our heads together, see what's going on, talk about these things. It helps me to talk when I talk about them, then it's like I register, and we share ideas. We share different facts from other cases or your own experience and everything. So it's a concerted effort, and nobody I don't I don't want to lead the pack or anything. That's not my thing. Okay. I'm like, what are y'all doing today? Where are we going to eat today? But I really do. Oh, the media exploitation is way beyond reason. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's it's so bad. Everything is exploited. Like you're when you get here, your worldview, my worldview is just like, and I'm just like, well, they suck. That sucks. Don't go there. Don't trust that one. Watch that one. Don't let your kids go over there. But anyways, I just, and I want their deaths to not be in vain. That's a big one. And I want their stories to wake up others. I want Tylee, and I mean, they have already, that with it, none of my doing. And there's so many more. That's the thing. There's so many more out there in the past, either before we had social media, electricity. Well, I mean, like, this has been going on forever. This is Joseph Smith. This is, I mean, and way back, I mean, just way back in time. And then you have you have Sean Reyes, who is the Attorney General for Utah. And he's corrupt as all get out. He's a piece of shit. And you have Tim Ballard, same. Okay. He's not senator, but they all hang out together and they help each other out. And then whenever, like Glenn Beck, whenever oh no, I distanced myself. No, you didn't. Sit down. You know what I mean? Sit down, son. Really? Just, it's like, go bullshit somebody else. Okay. You're a spin doctor. You're just a gatekeeper. You're like controlling the narrative. If you control the media, you control the narrative, right? Frank Vandersloot, East Idaho News. Something that Donna had told me earlier that she had made a connection to was 2015 is whenever Chad Daybell moved with his family to Rexburg, Idaho. 2015 is also when East Idaho News opened their doors and are gracing us with all, that 100% truthful media covering the case. It's whitewashed and it's bullshit. I mean, at first I was like, is it personal? Is it like Nate just like, or people in this case, in this religion, why aren't they busting it wide open? It's like it's a double standard thing to me. And that's why I guess I was so fascinated, like, how in the hell this really just trips me up. I'm like, how in the hell, this was back before any case went to trial. How in the hell are the prosecutors gonna call out the cult? And I mean, by that time I'd already learned enough to know that it's no different. except for the keyword zombie. Okay. And I mean, I think I'd have to find that source first to corroborate that it was used even before. Okay. With Joseph Smith time. So, and I'm like, how in the fuck are they going to do this? So, I mean, I'm in the courtroom. I'm looking at Lori. I'm looking at the jurors. I'm looking at the judge. I'm looking right behind the prosecution. I'm not looking at them, just looking at their backs. I'm listening to it and I'm taking it all in. And I'm just like, how does this work? And I'm looking at Lori and I'm like, why are you protecting this? You know, why are you're going to go up the river? You know, I'd just be like, oh my God. I'd be like Chad Daybell. No, I'm joking. It just, and so I'm watching this, and this was somebody I used to love, and you know, she's dead to me now. But I mean, I've mourned the death of my aunt as well. You know what I'm saying? Like that person died. She died. They're zombies. They're straight up zombies. Slugs, zombies, wormwoods, whatever the hell they were trying to project on everybody else. Okay, because that's what's going on here is projection. I'm looking at her and I'm just like, that day that she didn't want to testify, y'all, I had that awkward stare exchange in the courtroom. But it's like nothing was said. You know, and usually when your eyes meet with somebody, you talk without talking. And it's like we locked eyes, but then I don't remember really. It was long, it was awkward, and anyways, I left after that. Then my mom I went to my mom's condo or whatever, and she got a text. She was like, "Oh my God, we got to go back to the courtroom." And I'm like, "What?" Get there, and she doesn't want to testify. Now, I don't know if something she saw in in that weird exchange. I don't know. That's weird. And I didn't realize it till after it happened. I was like, "Oh my God, wait, we had that." Oh, that was weird. Like it just kind of, yeah, it's crazy. I feel like I'm so low. I'm like hiding behind here like a bandit. Okay, I wonder how many years Chad via Julie Rowe and others talked about Rexburg as the hotspot before he actually forced Tammy to relocate and move there. But so does this? Okay, so let's put this out there, okay? Because I don't really know how this works. I mean, I know what I've read and the pattern that that would apply here would make even Tammy that too. And so I'm just like, what? Look, it just made my damn blood pressure go up. Oh my God. It's weird. So I'm not ever going to victim blame. That's not me. But it seemed like today made it very clear to me that she was doomed. She was doomed. Everybody. And I mean, this is take Alex and Lori out of the picture. She was doomed just with her family. So, boom. It was strange, Peggy. A lot of lying. A lot. So, all right, let me shut up for a little bit. I let my little ears cool down. They just got hot. So what I did was I opened this up. I gotta find it. Seriously, it's like a TV, and I'm like this close to it. Okay. So the other weird thing, I'm sorry, I gotta say this too, and I said it in the last one. I'll go to here, and then I can say it through here. Okay. Let's see. And so it's just in my little StreamYard editing app. Okay. Nothing fancy. This is nothing fancy. This is just difficult research. Okay. So this is usually the transcript right here to the left. And of course, push play and all that. So I kind of cut out the parts that are dead, just dead air. So the first one, of course, is Emma, right? Again, now I broke it down though for a little while. Let's see. I don't know. Who do y'all want to more focus on as far as like analyzing? because I feel like I need to. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what approach to take. You don't believe it? Yeah, I want to go back over Garth because I mean he was there. Okay, he was there. Yeah, I think I didn't even check. Let me know what y'all think. Right, Desert Range, same as Charles. Charles was a victim, but he's I mean he's human. They're adults. You know, we f up. Huh, Lord, you know, can I check the box too? You know. And if anybody out there thinks that they're perfect, and this is probably not the right place for you, you know, we like humble people. Garth, okay. Thank you, Anna. I know. And so this is a whole thing though, Ravina. This is a whole thing. If you go look on Salt Lake Tribune, they have a whole article. No, I'm sorry, Fox 13 News. Tim has this club, okay? And it's called Mormon Women with Blue Eyes. MWBE. I shit you not. I don't feel like, you know, how long it takes me to pull anything up because I have too many things. It's crazy. So it's like, what was really going on here, you know? And kitty corner. Same here. It's catty corner here. Or adjacent, you know? But they're like kitty corner. And I'm like, stop saying kitty corner. Maybe it's just because it's them saying it. It's like the catty, what is it called? Oh my God. Jason says it a bazillion times a day. The cozy cone. I'm like, that sounds so gross. Just like when I hear priesthood blessings, I'm ducking. I'm running the opposite direction. Straight up. Don't want none of that. All right, so
that is
okay. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay, let's go over here to. Did y'all hear like Garth his affect, you know? Like every sentence he would end and it would go up. I don't know, you know, and I'm just like, wow. That's what freaked me out. Oh, let's see. Okay, let me get to Garth. Okay, here he is. Oop, oop. All right. I just don't have the picture one yet, but still don't. Okay, I can kind of speed it up too. No, let's listen to it normal speed just getting into it, you know. Oh my gosh. It's not showing me the sound waves, or I'd skip.
No.
Where to skip?
Did I give you any age?
Daybell. Conduct, everyone, like to remind everyone here in attendance, there's a courtroom conduct order in effect, and I appreciate everyone complying with that thus far today. We're on the record on CR 22-21-1623, State of Idaho versus Chad Guy Daybell. We
Lindsay
just
was on point
concluded the
today.
lunch recess,
like-
and Garth Daybell is on the stand in direct examination. If you'd like to continue with
Did I miss it somewhere back here? Let me go back here. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Okay. Glad to check.
The operation.
okay.
Okay. Okay, Daddy. Sorry. They are on my shit list officially today.
Whose bodies?
I'm
were
not
those?
making mistakes anymore. I mean, excuses.
Tylee, Ryan, and JJ Ballo. I have
And-
nothing further.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Equinox
This,
God dang.
at about 20 feet between the two beds.
the record for me. Complain.
Let me scooch in.
It was already
there they are.
completed.
All right, let's go to here. Finally.
Thank you.
All right, you can go ahead and inquire.
Would you state your name and spell your last name for the record for me, please?
Garth Daybell, Daybell.
And Garth, can you tell me what your relationship is to Chad over there to my left?
Chad is my father.
Okay, and can you tell me how many brothers and sisters you have?
I have 4 brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest, and then 2 brothers, 2 sisters.
Okay. Now,
Mm-mm.
I want to start out by saying that at the time your mother had passed away, and if at any time, Garth, you need to take a break or have a drink of water, please tell me, okay?
That sympathy stuff there, because we know how much of a jerk he can be talking about prior. So this whole, he treated these kids who testified today for this father of theirs, okay? John Pryor treated them with more, right there, empathy, compassion than all of them combined, in my opinion, treated Tammy with. I mean, there's none. There's no love lost here.
At the time,
I mean, he may love his mother, but I'm just saying they all let her down, and they continue to do it today.
your mother passed away, who was living in your dad and mom's home?
So in my parents' home, it was my dad, my mom, and me.
Okay. And in terms of the sleeping arrangements,
And so he got married, according to that Reddit post, made by his now brother-in-law, Garth's brother-in-law. Garth is an 8th grade teacher. Y'all said he teaches science. And he met his now wife when she was 16. But they kept it in the pants. They didn't do the hibbity dibbity, wink wink. I'm just saying, I don't know. But I mean, he was 26 years old. She was 16. But they waited till she was 18 to get married. That was right after Chad got arrested. So did they get married because of that? I'm sure. But also, was it to not have to testify against one another? Kind of like the rest, fall in suit. And anyways, since we find out that Garth is a big follower of his dad's, he's the one mighty and strong, right? He's all about the Church of the Firstborn. And I'm really under the impression these days that this Church of the Firstborn idea is New Jerusalem, is Zion, is the New World Order. Okay? That's what this is. So basically you can say that anyone for sure that I study or I talk about here that talks about any one or a combination of these things that I just named, Church of the Firstborn, Zion, New Jerusalem, the New World Order, okay? So you can basically say, I'm equating this to they are Satanists, okay? They are dark arts. They practice dark arts. They believe in the Dark Lord. So that's what the Church of the Firstborn means to me today.
how were the bedrooms?
Oh, but so he was 18 I'm sorry, she was 18 years old and Garth married her and he was 28 by that time. So what's he now? Okay, that was 2020, 32. I'm just saying.
Lined in that house.
So at the end of a hallway, there was on the left would have been my bedroom, and on the right across the hall would have been my parents' bedroom.
Okay. And if you were to estimate, and you only have to estimate, it doesn't have to be scientific. How far would you estimate is the distance between the bed you were sleeping in the one bedroom and the bed that your mother and father shared in terms of feet?
Shared.
So I would estimate about 20 feet between the two beds.
What the hell? That's nuts.
Now I'm going to switch around a
Give me
little
some
bit and go
space.
on a couple of other different topics. So please bear with me. Okay. There's a
You can go out there in the
is a
cozy cone.
method to this madness, I guess. But do you have a recollection? And I want to say prior to 2000, not John Pryor, but prior to 2017, who was driving the Dodge Dakota?
Prior to 2017 was my dad.
Okay. And then after 2017,
So,
was
I mean,
your dad's-
basically everything that John Pryor is bringing up whenever he is questioning his witnesses, even down to the witnesses that he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to call them. Okay. So Chad and Tammy, they have 5 children. Okay. So out of all 5, the top one we know was Elsa herself. Okay. It was Emma. She was first. That was his first choice. And then prosecution had also subpoenaed Emma, and they chose not to. Just it makes me wonder about Julie Rowe now. You know how we learned about Julie Rowe trying to get it, being subpoenaed or whatever. So it's like, did the state subpoena her? I mean, what? Anyways, I don't know if they do that for secure measures or what. Thank you, Laura. I find it more disturbing that he's allowed to teach and he's LDS teaching evolution. Double speak, Rhonda, don't you know? Double speak. It's okay. It's like, I'm like, those have double meanings, okay? you can't say, just like Melanie Gibb, or Lori. I live by the scriptures, and I'm like, no, you've memorized them, maybe. You know how to, justify some evil shit. Comes at you once, comes at you twice, comes at you 3 times. You know how to talk Mormonese. You know how to use these scriptures and talk to your other people. Okay, you're like-minded people over there, and y'all talk scripture. Y'all talk Mormonese. Okay, Mormonology 404, Mormonology 144. Just kidding, but so they know how to manipulate, but they're just like Jesus, and I'm just like, what is this? Weird. It's so weird, and I'm just, I never set out. And I don't try to make fun of other people. I respect other people's beliefs, but their beliefs made people in my family dead. And my mom was on their hit list. But still, I've never seen Chad David. Have you ever seen anybody cross out anybody's names on this? Because I haven't. And I don't know where its source is from, because it goes higher than Chad. It goes far and wide. And I'm just like, what? What? It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. All right, back. That's all I had to do with that. Okay.
Still driving the Dodge Dakota?
He was not.
So
Okay.
yeah.
You're sure about that?
I am sure.
Okay. Who was driving the Dodge Dakota?
It'd be my mom.
Okay. Okay. And she was primarily the one driving that?
Oh, I think I have it backwards.
Well, that's what I want to ask you, and I want to make sure that you're being accurate about this.
Wait,
So
okay. So did John Pryor even ask him and lie like everybody else? I mean, like everything else today, you're right. It was nothing but a lie today. Everything today was just lies, all lies. So I don't remember catching the first part of this. I'll look in the transcript while this goes, but I wanted to see if he did that whole, have I talked to you about any of this and how to say all the things in court today, like telling him what to say, right? It's
prior,
crazy.
and maybe I confused you by doing that. At the time of your mother's death, do you know which vehicle your dad was driving?
My dad was driving the Dodge Dakota.
Okay. And is there a reason why are you nervous?
I am.
Okay. Okay. Do you share your father's introvert personality?
I do.
Okay, it's not normal that, usually there's an introvert, an extrovert, kind of opposites, and so Tammy's an introvert now, and Chad. Okay, and Garth.
consider myself pretty shy.
Okay. So at the time, and I'm going to go back, and this is prior, meaning before 2017. Again, do you know who was driving the Dodge Dakota?
But before 2017,
What's the damn difference?
it would have been my mom.
Okay. And then do you have a reason as to why that changed? Do you recall?
If I recall, it had something to do with car troubles.
Okay.
Was he trying to kill her then? Just, I'm asking for a friend.
And then your mother started driving a different vehicle?
She started driving an Equinox.
Okay.
An Equinox?
And was that her primary vehicle?
After 2017, yes.
Okay. But there were occasions when they switched off. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. But primarily your father would be the one seen in the Dodge Dakota, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Okay, another thing. Why didn't Chad ever just write at home? Why do you have to go to the damn college? Okay. First off, you only have one kid at home. They're not kids anymore. They're freaking adults. Ugh.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about the summer of 2019 and in regards to
fun.
raccoons. What do
Yeah,
you
let's do
recall
it.
about that summer in regards to raccoons?
That summer, I was testing out a new tent, and out
How
in
does
the
one
back.
okay, is this a thing? Do people test out tents? I really don't know. I'm really asking. It just seems a little different. I would test it out when I go camping or need the tent. You kinda know how they're gonna go, you know? Anyways,
Field, and I heard a rustling, and I
backfield.
went out and I looked up into the tree, and there was a raccoon there, and so I ran inside and I told my dad, "There's a raccoon."
And so when was this again? This was summer. Was he there? Is he talking about shooting Tylee? I'm starting to sound like him. No, okay, hold on. Hold on. Let's go back here with what do you call about
What do you recall about that summer in regards to raccoons?
That summer, I was testing out a new tent, and out in the back field, and I heard a rustling, and I went out and I looked up into the tree, and there was a raccoon there, and so I ran inside and I told my dad, "There's a raccoon," and it was
How old were you? You were like what? 26, 25? You gotta go get your dad? I mean, you don't bury nuisances either. I'm a hunter. Uh, you don't kill things and then bury, you know what I mean? You do that to your pets, but you don't show that kind of, you leave it to the wild or whatever, but you don't just kill just to kill. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have to, like if it's, um, I don't even know. I don't even have a good analogy or whatever or example, but I know you don't just kill animals or anything else, people, just for pleasure. It's got to be, and you definitely don't bury a nuisance. And I mean, I'm from Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and am Cajun French. That's my heritage. And one of the nicknames, or yeah, I guess a nickname we get called, being Cajun French, is a coonass. Okay, coonass. And some people, and I mean, in the past, and definitely in the South, I'm sure everywhere, but coon has been equated to a slur word for Black people. And one can also conclude that coon equals dark. Okay. So a raccoon is dark. It's also a nuisance, right? And they said Tylee was dark. And then the limb debris, then the coming storms, for Christ's sake, burning. Chad did tell on himself in that text to Tammy, because they can't help it. Like they're so psychopathic that they cannot help it, is my conclusion. That's my little tiny brain there.
very close to where our rabbits
Was
were
he
being
there?
kept. And so I told him, and we went out. He grabbed the shotgun and he shot the raccoon.
And was that in the evening? Was that during the day? When was that?
It was about 10 at night.
Okay, so an evening.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it exclusive that you would only see raccoons at night, or were there occasions
Normally.
when you would see them in the morning or the afternoon?
Sometimes during the day.
I saw them at night, except for when we had trapped.
Actually, better question. You got to ask them the right questions, right? That's something. I think Summer Shiflett and Melanie Pulaski are like, they're not asking the right questions, and I'm like, oh my god, like what? I'm sorry, I don't have the code to crack to know what kind of what the right way to ask, where are the kids? You know what I'm saying? Like what? It's the same reasoning behind Summer Shiflett for sure. Anyways, that's a whole nother fucking story. But for Summer Shiflett to say, respond back to, I think, a reporter saying, well, why haven't you called? Why have you talked to your sister in jail? Yeah. Well, have you asked her where the kids are? Oh, well, I can't because she's in jail. What? Woo. that's mental gymnastics like a mofo. And so you're like, yeah, you can ask your sister where the kids are. That's up to her whether she can tell you. That's on her. You ask. But that says so much just on how she answers that. Like that logic, that whole reasoning is just like, oh my God. Wow. Yeah, you can, but you didn't because y'all are all freaking dirty.
Them.
Okay.
Sorry.
And you had trapped them during the day
hmm
when they were raiding what were they raiding?
The rabbit hutch, or it was a
Oh.
rabbit pen. We had set up a fence.
Okay. Well, that obviously keeps things out and keeps things in. So how is this raccoon bothering you?
Okay. So they would come in during the day to go after your rabbit food or rabbits?
The food, and we were worried they would go after the
it
rabbits
inside.
eventually too.
Put it in the
Okay.
cozy cone.
Did you have an occasion to catch other raccoons during the summer of 2019?
Are we about to hear how many victims there were? Just asking.
We did.
How many other raccoons did you catch during the summer of 2019?
It was 3 or 4, if I remember.
And do you have a recollection?
Was it at the Rexburg run, at the Rexburg race, Operation Underground Railroad? I mean, what are y'all doing? I'm trying to look at the bigger picture as well as analyze what he is saying and what's being said with this group and with this context. I don't get to really I guess the way I'm looking at all these things and analyzing all these things, I have to kind of deduce those, or not deduce, but I have to minimize those things. If I were to go and be interviewed by a large media outlet, I say I have to. They're not going to let me. They're not going to air my what I say. They're going to, if they even used it at all, they would cut all the parts that they want out of it that are not controversial too much, unless it's a big boom, unless it's going to make them money and not spill the beans, all the big power people. So, I mean, it's so frustrating. So I have to even minimize, and while I'm talking, I'm trying not to, I want to say it. I mean, oh my God, I've been like this for years. Like, oh my God, I got something to tell you. It's bad. This is all bad. This is so big, so huge, so corrupted. But you have to I've chosen, or I've, kind of reasoned with myself, like, okay, I don't want them to be acquitted. I don't want them to walk. But I don't want prosecution to be dirty. I don't want church to be covered up. I don't want Nate eating whitewashing shit. I want their stories to be told. But there's so many different variables in there. And that's just aside from him and Lori, from Chad and Lori. That's everything. That's not counting what Melanie Gibb, Warwick, Zalima, all the people. Okay. And it's a constant push pull, and and some of you talk too loud, you can get murdered. They don't like people that talk loud. And I mean, this is bad. Tim Ballard is connected to, Henry Kissinger died, but he was on the Afghanistan World Organization board with him. He's not such a good dude. There's so many connections. It's unreal. I need a mind map. I need somebody who's organized, who can get my thoughts on paper, understandable. But it's just
Collection of approximately where on the property those were buried?
We typically buried them in the compost heap behind the silver shed.
Where they didn't dig. Oh, damn. We'll go dig it right now, fool.
Okay. Were there other animals that were buried in a different place on the property?
Yes.
And where would those other animals be buried?
Animals that were more of pets, we would bury out near a raspberry patch.
What about in the fire pit? And what about, around the pond?
Okay. So it would be unusual for your father to put a
Where the hell's the
raccoon in
raspberry patch? Does anybody know where the raspberry patch is? Or do you got to guess?
raspberry patch then. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Because they name
Okay,
shit.
so would he typically tell your mother if he did something like that?
Yes.
Okay, was the silver,
He don't tell her he's even cheating on her. Oh my
what did you
God.
call it? The behind the what?
Silver shed.
The silver shed, was that getting full at some point?
The shed was pretty, or you mean the
The ground around the shed is where you were putting them in the compost.
Getting full. Is that what he said? Yeah, he just said, was the silver shed getting full at
Silver
some
shed,
point?
was that getting full at some point?
I mean, how many damn dead animals did they have? Okay, first off, if it's getting full, it's a pasture, right? Prior, it's just rolling property. It's wide open, and Chad Daybell would never bury anything on his property, don't you know?
the shed was pretty, or you mean the
ground around the shed is where you were putting them in the compost.
I would think so. There was a few
You
animals
either
in
did
there.
or did not.
Well,
You
more
would
than a
think.
few, correct?
Yes.
Mm-mm. I don't like his answers.
So at some point you also set traps for the raccoons. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Who did you get the traps from?
Our neighbor Matt Price.
Okay, and at some point, was there issues with the operation of that trap?
Sometimes they could get in and get the food without the trap activating.
So why don't you sharpen up y'all skills as being a trapper? Okay.
Okay,
Instead of shooting.
okay.
Just throwing that out there.
Now, and when that happened, would that mean the door wouldn't close, or what would go on there?
So the door would remain open,
What?
but the food would disappear.
Okay. And was that happening throughout the summer?
It was.
Okay, and eventually, did you catch that big raccoon?
Oh,
There were so many, I don't remember.
Okay.
oh my God,
And at
y'all.
some
Just act like that's
I
victims.
apologize to
I'm just
interrupt.
saying.
There's just an issue I want to bring up briefly on a sidebar here.
The hell? Right. Okay, we're gonna do this.
Very confusing to me.
Oh, I'm like,
Arguably
what?
weird.
All right, let me
Library
skip.
where my mom worked invited us to.
Lies, everything she
Faith
said.
beliefs.
It seems like that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like her whole family right here. This one, and the other ones. Okay. I really don't know, but I can only imagine. This is who they chose to testify in their dad's death penalty trial. So these are the ones that are more likely to favor him, right? That, and I'm gonna add to what Krisha just said. No, I'm kidding. And so everything that John is asking and pulling out, getting his witnesses to testify, he's asking them questions. And so it's like interesting to see, let's find the themes in this, like he started basically with the 2017, or I'm sorry, what truck was Tammy driving in 2017? So I just don't know if there's going to be like a surprise, you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like with the Seven Gatherers thing, we were just like, what? Where's this crescendo to? And so I'm just trying to kind of see it from different ways. Can we agree on that? Well, I mean, I'm wondering now if he was physically abusive. I'm wondering. I mean, I don't know. And people are like, well, no, he wasn't really like that. And I'm like, she's dead. And he was A-okay with, just rushing a funeral and getting her in the ground as fast as she could, as far away as he could, distance himself from her, not even putting his name on her grave. Who does that? This one does right here. And this one supports it.
Declining. I was really worried about it. She
Okay, let me skip
Well-
over to Garth here. Okay. Baby Garth. No. Baby. Wait. We had some names picked out earlier, but I forgot. Okay. Let's see. Come on.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'd like to remind everyone here in attendance, there's a courtroom conduct order in effect. And
Okay.
That-
Let me skip.
Times prior to today, have we spoken together?
Think no.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, Now, Garth, before we go forward, we had previously been talking about the raccoon in the cage, but before we go forward, how many times prior to today have we spoken together?
Why?
I think no more than 3,
Okay,
including today.
okay. If you include today, we did speak yesterday for a brief time. Is that correct?
Yes.
I told you what to say on the interview for 48 hours, you know, when Emma tried to fake cry, it looked like she was a little constipated. A lot. No tears.
Did I tell you anything to say, or did I encourage you to testify a certain way?
I'm gonna go
No.
pull that up
Did I
too.
give you any
I'm gonna
advice
pull
of
that
any
up.
kind?
The only advice given was to just tell the truth.
And you're prepared to do that today?
Yes.
I want to talk about the September 9th of 2019. Do you recall that?
I think if I
Tyler
recall
was
correctly,
murdered.
that's the day that I drove home.
Okay, and about what time did you get home that day?
So I got home from work about a little after 4 because that's when my contract hours ended. And so it'd take about 20 minutes to drive home, and I pulled into the back driveway.
Okay, now hold on a second. I guess I didn't cover this very well. You are currently employed as what?
I'm a 8th grade science teacher,
And where do you teach?
Madison Junior High in Rexburg.
Okay. And
Uh,
at the time in 2019,
Jason
were
Mal
you working
has
as an 8th
spoken
grade
there.
science teacher?
I was.
Okay. And did you have another job as well?
That October, I worked as a scare person at a local haunted house.
A scare
Okay,
person.
Okay. So on the date of September 9th
Mm-hmm.
of 2019, you had testified that you were just getting home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you have an occasion in that, was it late afternoon or evening? Do you recall?
It was late afternoon. The sun was still up.
Okay. Did you have an occasion to talk to your father?
I did. As I pulled in, he came up to me. He was in work clothes and
All right. Now hold on. When you say close, what does that mean?
yard work.
Okay.
And he sounded very excited. He said, "Hey, Garth, I killed another raccoon."
Okay. Was that the raccoon that you folks were having difficulty with that was breaking out of the cage?
I believe it was.
Okay. And did he express that to you
Breaking
that you
out of the
finally got that
cage?
raccoon?
He did.
Okay.
No.
And then at that point, did he show you where he buried that raccoon?
He showed me that it was
What?
buried behind the silver shed.
Okay.
Watch how chat. He's gonna do like this. He's gonna draw in. It's like the more and more we get into this, I was watching him today and he's just like he's like he's trying to fold into a pocket.
Okay. Did he ever say to you that he buried a raccoon in the pet cemetery?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
Now, are we confusing the raccoons? You know that you buried some in the silver
With
shed.
what?
Is there possibly
People? What else would we how what? Are we confusing raccoons? No,
now are we
prior.
confusing the raccoons? You know that you
Weird.
buried some in the silver shed. Is there possibly that some were
In
buried in
it?
the pet cemetery?
I think, or they were all buried behind the silver shed.
Okay.
Just so why's
Now,
why is Kylie
we talked a little
what?
bit with your sister about your mother's
Limb to
health
break.
issues.
Okay,
What
okay.
concerns did you have about your mother's health?
I was concerned that she was getting tired extremely easily, that she would work extremely
down,
hard all
boy.
day and then just come home and collapse.
Okay. And did you ever
Because
encourage her
your dad is a piece of shit and he don't work and oh my god. You at least holding 2 jobs. You're contracting it as a scare person or whatever the hell that is. Whatever the hell I already oh my god. And this piece of shit goes, I'm gonna go write at BYU. And then I mean here he is just basically texting Lori the freaking James and Elena story. It is gross to the nth degree, right?
to seek medical help?
I did. She had hurt her arm, and I wanted her to go get it looked at. She was trying to rub this bruising ointment on it.
Because that's what people do. Look at Pinterest every night. Just Google Pinterest, dude. Oh my God. You can also, oh my God, for stinky shoes, you can spray alcohol in there, makes it go away. It's called, what did people do before damn doctors? You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't always have this technology. And Tammy didn't die of anemia. She didn't die of freaking gel on her bruises. A gel, natural. She did not die from menopause, and she did not die from heavy lungs. And just while she was dancing and training for a freaking race. And so it's only these kids who are saying this. None of the other witnesses, the prosecution's already rested. We're done. Right. And they're the only ones that are saying this. Even interviews like Aunt Vicky, Tammy's Aunt Vicky. You're not hearing none of this. Samantha, William, none of this. It's just, he is okay with it. Chad damn Daybell is okay with it. He's the same man that was okay with body shaming her basically and talking down at her at her own damn wake. Okay. He spoke at her funeral and he is like, he picks the song, put your shoulder to the wheel. I looked up the lyrics and we talked about it here one day, just reading the lyric, reading the words to the lyrics the day that Heather Daybell testified. And you're like, what? It is. It means just get in there and do your job. And that's what she was to them. And so if Chad treated Tammy like that, their whole marriage, almost 30 years, I feel so bad for her. God, it's worse than I thought. You know what I mean? Like, because again, you see the smiles in the pictures together, the family pictures, you see the smiles. And so you just assume that it can't be bad the whole time. I mean, hell, I've had shitty relationships and it wasn't bad the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have bad experiences, bad periods of time, but it's not bad, but it just seems really bad. But then again, that's just listening to these people here. But I mean, can you imagine what it was like for her? I feel.
She refused to go.
Okay, at some point she did go to the doctor
Wasn't she giving him Prozac or whatever the generic is for that?
the injury, however. Do you recall that?
I don't recall the exact time that happened.
Okay. Were there other issues that you had concerns about your mother's health?
We worked in the yard together a lot, and I was her
Did she
muscle.
shoot any raccoons?
She would direct me where to dig and move stuff, and
I was her
cinder
muscle.
blocks and garden things, and
Cinder blocks. Hold that thought.
and yeah, she had a hard time doing those heavier things.
And why do you say she had a hard time with it?
She would get really winded really easily.
She was almost damn 50.
And is that something that happened in the last year of her life, or was that the entire time that you knew her?
If so, I'm about to
I would
die.
say it
I'm
became
always winded.
increasingly more
That's
towards the
saying.
end of her life.
Okay. Okay. Were there any other concerns about any sort of other medical issues of her being able to keep her balance or anything like that that caused you concern?
She would have fainting spells.
And how
I
often
don't
would
know.
that
She was
happen?
so frail. Poor thing.
It was usually after she'd been kneeling for a while.
Okay.
What the fuck? I'm
Was
sorry.
there ever a discussion in your family about her having some
Kneeling?
difficulty in the temple with kneeling?
Yes.
What was that concerned?
Objection, Your Honor. This calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
Well, ask your client.
I want to go back to
How long have y'all got
the
that?
incident with the paintball gun and your mother.
Oh my
Do you recall that day?
I do.
It was approximately the 9th of October. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall where you were at that point?
I was on the couch.
Okay. Who was home at that point?
It was me watching TV, and my dad was working on the computer.
Okay.
Oh,
And then
not
at some
working.
point,
He was.
did your mother come home?
She did.
You know what I'm
And
saying.
how
You
did
know
she
what he was
approach you
doing.
when she got home?
She came in really panic-stricken, saying someone had attacked her.
Okay. And did she say with what?
She said with a paintball gun.
Okay. Did you have a discussion with her prior
she
to
didn't.
taking any
No,
action?
she didn't.
So when she said that, I was filled with rage, and I wanted to go find whoever had done this. And but before I chased after someone with
Why did I give me that?
a gun, I said, "Are you sure it was a paintball gun?"
Okay.
And she said, "Yes, it had the thing on top."
The thing on top. What do you mean the thing on top?
I think she was referring to the hopper on top where you put the paintballs.
Did she specifically identify a hopper on top of that gun?
She did by showing me a picture on the computer and pointing to the hopper on the picture.
Did she Google a picture
She did.
and she showed you the picture on the computer?
Yes.
Now,
Pull
I
them
want to go
searches
with
up.
one other topic. At some point, your father and your mother and you were there. Is that correct?
Yes.
And were all of you looking at this image on the computer?
Yes,
Okay. And then an officer by the name of Coulter Cannon showed up at that point. Do you recall that?
I do.
And at some point, did you or your father and mother show Officer Cannon the picture of the paintball gun on the computer?
We did.
And who was present when that took place?
I
What does
believe
it
was
matter?
my mother, my father, and me and the officer.
Okay. And is there any doubt that you showed the officer the image on the computer?
There's no doubt in my mind.
It don't mean. What does it matter?
I'd
She's
like
dead.
to move on. And
We're not here for the attempt.
And
Ugh.
again, if at any point you need to take a break, you let me know. Or if you need some water, or if for some
You need
reason.
me
you
to
let me
pat your
know.
Take a
butt
quick sip.
like your dad did, Lori, your mom, your other mom?
I want to talk to you a little bit about the evening of October 18th. Okay, and that was the evening before your mother passed.
Yes.
Okay. you were working that day, and you mentioned something about in October you were working at a scare what?
So there's a local haunted house in Teton, Idaho, which is about 20-ish, maybe half an hour away from where I lived, and a seasonal attraction that I would go work. I'm dressed up in a costume to scare
That's
people.
just weird because it's purge season. That's
And
why.
at that point, did you have an occasion before going in to do that to come home?
Okay, we're gonna stop right there because I want to just read this to you real quick. I looked up it is about pointing, using a fake gun. Is it really illegal to point a toy gun at someone? It says illegal to point. Okay, if you're trying to make them think it's a real thing, it's the real thing. Yes, it is. In fact, it's so illegal they could justifiably shoot you in self-defense. I mean, this is just a fake. Let's just go with John Pryor here. It's irrelevant because it's still in the eyes of the law, which is what he allegedly practices there. This is what they're doing. Okay, so this one says, okay, it says if you brandish something at someone in a threatening way, such that a normal person would take it as a threat, it doesn't make any difference if it's a toy gun or not, paintball gun or not, real gun or not. Okay. Pointing a toy gun at someone is not a crime per se, but you can stick your finger in your coat pocket, walk into a bank and demand money, and you'll be put away for 20 years. If you make the threat real enough to be believed, that's all that counts. You're a freaking, like you're instilling fear in someone and in such a a surprise, I guess, moment or act of doing that, I mean, that's terrible. That causes trauma to people. That's psychologically damaging, I mean, it's anyways, emotionally damaging too. It says I once walked wait, if you make the threat real enough to be believed, that's all that counts. Okay, I once walked into my office. All my coworkers were standing against the wall on the newly hired delivery boy was pointing a single action Ruger Blackhawk and 357 mag at them. He whirled around when I came in, pointed the weapon at me, and told me to reach. I saw the hammer wasn't cocked, and I knew I had a fairly good chance of overpowering him before I got shot. Quote, "You either give me that gun slowly," I said, "or I'm going to beat you to death with it." Sounded like what Tammy was doing. She like slapped him, Alex allegedly, according to her. So I believe her with her freezer meals or whatever. And so this sounds like their reaction too. Somebody had brought what the hell? Somebody had brought the pistol into work to sell to another coworker, and the delivery boy had been examining it when I came in. It was unloaded. The business owners were both involved in this. One of them had brought the revolver in. They tried to make light of it, but I was dead serious. One of them called me up that night trying to smooth things over, but I was not taking any of it. I finally got an apology from everyone, and folks learned this was not what you do at the office or anywhere. Would I have killed the kid? Look, I would have hated myself for the rest of my life, but I would have done my best. Right? There were enough grown men in the room. I probably could not have gotten far. I just wanted the threat removed. If the hammer had been cocked, if the gun would have been real, I would have been so brave. What if it had been a toy? If it had, oh my gosh. Okay. If it had been a purple green squirt gun, I would have laughed and gone to my office. I just happened to own the exact same piece and knew it intimately. Where does the law stand on this? The kid was guilty of assault at minimum. The owners were guilty of providing a threatening workplace. Nobody wanted to push anything. No police were called. I stayed for another 6 months, but this and other shenanigans got me looking for another job. How should this have gone down? Look, this was the first time the kid had ever handled a firearm. He was ignorant. What should have happened is somebody should have taken the pistol by the barrel, handed it to me so I could examine it for myself, that it was unloaded, and then we would have all been in the know. Right? Ooh. Anyway, so that's just like if you point a gun or a gun-like object at a person in a situation where they may reasonably believe it to be a real gun, especially if you make effort to give the impression that it is a real gun. Okay, case closed. Then legally it is the same as pointing a real gun at someone. For example, if you rob a bank with a toy gun that you have painted to look like a real gun, then by law, you've committed armed robbery. It doesn't matter that the gun was fake. Your victims had no way to know that. And in fact, you deliberately used the impression that it was real to coerce them into giving you the money. If a valiant guard shot you dead, it would be a valid case of self-defense without regard for the fact your gun was actually a toy. Conversely, I'm sorry, I just want to finish. I want to read. Conversely, in a context where the gun is clearly a toy, everyone knows it and everyone consents to the activity. It's perfectly legal to point toy guns at people. I've participated in airsoft matches with guns that looked and felt extremely realistic, but they were glorified toy guns. Everyone knew it, and everyone was choosing to participate in the game. Perfectly legal. Shooting someone with a real gun in that situation would be murder, not self-defense, because he knew the gun was a toy. Or because he knew the gun was a toy. This is why toy guns, even otherwise realistic ones, have orange tips. It's supposed to signal that it's a fake gun. Don't take them off, especially if you ever use a toy in somewhere that is in a closed environment. Years ago, some teens, early 20s, were playing a LARP. Oh, here we go. Or Assassin or some game in a public space. Was it Jason Mel? Just kidding. I'm being legit though. Not kidding. Unknown to everyone else in an area that had just suffered a string of armed robberies. Some idiot mistook me for a participant in the game for some damn fool reason and would have gotten himself shot if I hadn't noticed the orange tip in time. On the other hand, my buddy holds Nerf battles in a public park sometimes, and great care is taken to ensure no non-participants were actually involved. We're running around with bright colored Nerf guns, having a raucous time, and still get the cops called on us once in a while because someone. Okay, blah, blah, blah. That's way too much. Okay, so I mean, it corroborates with she's dead. It corroborates with the text messages. It corroborates with the rest of the damn evidence. It corroborates, with the ending of the story or whatever. So I don't want to keep y'all too long. I'm hungry. So anyways, I don't know. Or what do y'all want to do? I can take something to drink. I'm gonna end up it's kind of turning red right there from the Kool-Aid. I know. I know. Hold on.
Hey, I wanted to show you one thing.
Okay.
Okay, you remember Emma was like, "Oh, well, you have a tiny school, and it's just
yeah." Okay.
Did she say it was two? Well, it's kindergarten. It's
3
preschool.
grades.
It's 4 actually because it's preschool, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade. And there's 5 classes of each one. And here's the school. I'm gonna show.
Heidi. See, I didn't get this. Like, I'm answering Heidi. Like, whenever I listened to Garth earlier today, when we were actually watching the trial, what I got from it was Tammy was dead before he got home. Like, there is no quarter pounder, and if so, it was not in her stomach. And if it was in her stomach, and she threw up, there was not that evidence of like a Big Mac in her stomach. Okay. So it's like, what? And I mean, just, oh my God, it's horrible. Hey, I think, I really do think that Alex and Chad did the deed. And again, she lay there for like, what, 7 hours? She was stiff. Until Chad cued Garth to call 911. Garth failed. And he was like, "Oh, I don't know." He froze, right? Can you imagine the fear that's been instilled in him? He sounds like he's been traumatized a little bit. Even Mickey D's doesn't know what's beneath the damn bun. Hollywood Jaded says, "Thank you for that." Potatoes and peanuts, right? Okay.
This is just.
I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna get.
Hold on. Heidi says, "No, you're fine." It's just right, but he brought the burger before he went to the spook house. Oh, he did. Okay, I thought he brought it like after. Thank you. See, all right. Thank you, Heidi.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Like, and we won't get to it tonight, but God dang. Okay,
It burns me that they lie about everything, even the damn size of the school. You can see from this building these little tiny cars and little tiny things. There's like, here are the playgrounds. And this is a big campus. This is not a 2-room schoolhouse. I don't know what's the matter with that girl. Lying
y'all,
about
Jason Mao
everything.
has gone and spoke in the library. Actually, I have screenshots of Jason Mao in this library speaking. Okay, and I'm just like, this is crazy. Just the connections here. Wouldn't Chris wait? Jason Mao knew Ron Ball's whatever sister. They knew each other's families and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, that's weird, but you kind of overlook it, right? But then there's too many things, and there is corruption here, and yes, Chad and Lori are responsible for what they did. That's how I look at it. They all responsible is how I look at it. They contribute to it.
Anyways, let me pull that out.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I mean, didn't they feed JJ McDonald's too? I thought it was pizza. Because I want to say Melanie Gibb said that, I don't know, shit.
This Burger King is where she took it.
Oh, the chicken fries, yeah. Yeah. They
Um,
should take the jury on some field trips. I know, I thought about it too. Because it's
just
the
so hard to
church is,
figure
like, right
out.
there too.
Because, I mean, Tammy knew about so much of this, but she surely didn't know they were going to kill her too.
Right. It's still wrong. Like, again,
Yeah.
I mean, it's murder. It's conspiracy to commit murder. It's wrong. And even what's happening right now today in the trial, and ever since she was put in the ground, with
And
the autopsy. Yeah.
allegedly innocent made some really big points too in the chat earlier. She said, why do they have so many animals? Why are they claiming so many damn animals are planted in their yard? That sounds like ritual abuse right there.
Yeah. That's who said that?
Allegedly innocent is in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And that dang, I gotta do. Y'all haven't seen Cars, the movie? The little cartoon movie, in a long time. My little boy is 24, so it's been a hot minute. My little girl's 18, so it's like I don't even remember. I remember just vaguely the character names, but I need to go watch it. I want to know what the damn cozy cones means, because this is weird. It's weird. I think this is a ritual family. I really do. I think they're just another link in the chain. And, I am learning that, if you're studying this occult, mainstream Mormonism that Chad belongs to, okay, it's mainstream fringe, and it's just tug of war too. But anyway, so studying this, you learn that there's like different levels. They rate these families who are, I guess, Satanism, Luciferian. I don't even know how to say it. Luciferian. There it is. So there's some that are like, I guess, ranked, because they're all about ranking, right? That's what this is about. They're all about the whole end game, and I don't know enough to speak not ignorantly about it, because right now it sounds so dumb. But I mean, I can give you the gist of it all day, every day. I'm your girl, but it's oh my god, I forgot. Let's see. Hold on. That was a good point I was about to make. Oh, it's all about the Aryan race. It is. It is. And but I don't know enough about not I don't really so I'm just gonna speak ignorantly, but it is Nazi. It's they're Nazis. 2024 now, you know, and that's the end game. That's what this is. And there were like 50,000 Nazis, like scientists and psychiatrists and all the people. And I mean, that's, I think, what kind of, without studying this, without knowing all this, it just kind of seems to be the, what kind of led to these things. I mean, even David Hamblin's dad was a sociologist who he wrote papers for Travis. Oh my God, Tavistock. He also allegedly ritually abused the Hamblin kids. David Hamblin and his siblings. He also, I mean, he was all about doing experiments about reward systems. It was all behavior modification, and he was funded by the government. And then the Hamblins moved from New York, that area, the East Coast, and they went to Tucson, Arizona. Jody Hildebrandt is from Tucson, Arizona, and I'm like, well, I want to know. I highly suspect that they're linked in one way, shape, or another. Tim Ballard, he is. Okay, let me back this up to Janet Russin, the psychic who was Tim Ballard's intel. Tim Ballard wasn't doing any CIA yippee-ki-yay motherfuckers, like saving children. He was using a psychic, taking ketamine treatments to trip balls, basically, and channel the dead ancient prophet Nephi. Or maybe that's just a spin that's being put on this, just like with Captain Moroni and the Angel Moroni with the lore whore. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm just like, it's spun too, because like Melanie Gibb is the one who basically originated with that whole, I call it or some people call it the zombie email. Some people call it the infamous Reddit email, but it was posted and it's literally the template that Nate Eaton used to interview Melanie Gibb the first time we heard from her back in the end of April of 2020. And she's talking about the Holy Ghost. Those are not, Chad's not trying to be the damn Holy Ghost. Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Those are words to make us go, oh my God, and to stop at that and just be like, okay, label it. And okay, he's just a zealot and whatever. Oh, is it overzealot or is it just zealot? Anyways, he's blasphemous for sure, or he's a cult leader. They're trying to start their own cult. So it seems like what's happening is, let's just say it's a secret society. It's not so secret anymore. Okay. Tell your friends. And so let's say these families or these generationalists or abusers, ritualistic people, these assholes, they're all practicing this. They're all working or using these conferences, these, social events, mixers, where they get to brag and just gather. Okay. That's their excuse, it seems, because Tim Ballard's on flyers on other speaking circles too. And then you think about it, like Tim Ballard is over there going to third world countries because it's not legal to do what he's doing here. Not what he's doing, where you just go and anyways, not he wasn't doing anything anyways, besides, in my opinion, creating more victims. Okay. Except they're in third world countries that are so vulnerable. And we don't get that news back here. And I mean, there's corrupt agents and everything, officials over there. And it's like they're just making their rounds because Tim Ballard's connected to Eduardo Verástegui, the president of Mexico, Viktor Yushchenko in the Ukraine, David Levitt ties to the Ukraine. And he is actually on an interview. David Levitt, David Levitt, powerful family name in Utah. Him and his wife, they actually, okay, I'm sorry. Let me back that up. So David Levitt is on video talking to I forget who it is, but and I guess a reporter, and he's saying that he walked off of a Indian reserve, a Native American, what do you call it? Oh my God, I keep going blank on certain words, right? He walked off of the. Oh my God, I'm done. I'm done. He walked out of there, okay, with this little Native American girl who he's just done some real shady shit with as a prosecutor at the time of the girl's mother. And he just walks off with procured the little girl. And then they even moved with her to a freaking castle, okay, in Scotland. And I'm just like, what? Who gets away with all this shit? Anyways, don't even ask that question because that's just you'll drive yourself mad doing that. But all these connections, you've got the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. You've got Mitt Romney working on it. You've got with him Gordon Bowen, who is known as the Punisher, in the LDS Church of Satan, which is Hamblin's group. They go by their group. Okay, what did we just learn? I don't know if it correlates or not, but I'm just saying it for just transparency reasons. The 7 gatherers that kept being brought up by John Pryor. In the FOIA docs, I went and I was like, oh my God, okay, so it is in the FOIA docs. Their names, 7 gatherers, but they go by the group. And I'm like, okay, so these Lori Zalema, Nicole Earl, Christina Atwood, Serena Sharp, whether they were in the group or not, okay. Melanie, just all the main players, seven of them. And so they're listed there. So what okay. So are they the group? Are they part of like what, and I really do highly suspect this. I don't think they all like hang out together. I'm not saying that, but it's way bigger, and it is way, way bigger. It goes even bigger than that, but just the group thing, but and then knowing what they do. And the thing I was going to show Ravina earlier was the Native American, there was this dance or something, and maybe y'all might know about this. I just learned about it last night and I was like, oh my God. But so there's people in the past, and this is back in Joseph Smith's time, this is early Mormonism, and there were members who were claiming to have visions with dead relatives, with Jesus, with deities, okay? But they were also mixing it with Native American practices and ceremonies, okay? Which, I mean, point in case is David Hamblin administering peyote even to his daughters, allegedly, in these ceremonies. And there's plenty more where that came from, okay? So I'm just like, okay, Hugh Vale, I mean, he's all into healing and basically mescaline and ketamine treatments, and he owns a big ranch, and they're all freaking crazy. And then Jody Hildebrandt, she treated like Paris Hilton. Adam Steed, he's trying to blow the whistle on the Boy Scouts of America, and he's from Southeast Idaho. And Frank Vandersloot, who is the richest billionaire in Idaho, especially Southeast Idaho. And he owns freaking East Idaho News and the Melaleuca plant. Oh my God. Ian worked for the Melaleuca plant. And he's a Secret Santa. Okay. It's just like, okay, what's really going on here? And money is power. And if you control the media, you control the narrative, right? It's influence. But then on the other side of it too, they're making bank off of the tragedies that they are causing. It's the same concept that I've told y'all about before, where I feel like the same people that are the officers of the court and everything that are adjudicating my family's case, their justice, so to speak, because it's not justice to me. It's double speak in my world. But because Chad and Lori have rights, they are entitled to a jury of their peers. And but the same people that are carrying out so-called justice are the same people that are responsible for murdering them. And I mean, I know that's not true. Uh, when you split the hairs, right? But the same. Oh, it's so. To me, it's so disrespectful, and it was packed. It looked packed just from here, not even being there. Okay. Peyote men don't set up churches and people don't know unless they know. Uh-oh. We don't share our ceremonies. We're told not to. But David Hamblin and James Moody. James Mooney or James Moody. I'm not good with my words today. They exploited this law, where that's what's going on here. So people are creating these 501c3 nonprofit organizations, and they're like tax-free, raising it for a noble cause. Enter Operation Underground Railroad. Enter Tim Ballard, who's no longer with Operation Underground Railroad because they had to push him along. But I mean, trust me, all they do is rebrand because we get the spear fund from that. And he rolled right into it. Okay. On to dupe the next people. On to the next exploit. Coco Berthman. She's part of this ilk. I mean, this girl is people like this too, who say that they have been sex trafficked and she suffered horrible abuse. And I mean, she went on and on, made thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, manipulated so many people. Paul Hutchinson talks about it. So does Lynn Packer, but she's buds with Tim. Okay. And so it's this whole, it's chaos is what it is. Okay. And it's a lot of pain and heartache and destruction and murder. Victims, definitely victims are in these people's wake. They're psychopaths. And they all just kind of band together in a sense. And their whole, again, speaking just really weird right now, but their end game is to usher in the second coming. All right. It's not the second coming. That's just words they use. It's wordplay. The second coming to them means into this Nazi 2.0. I don't know what else to call it besides just control. I think they're using the religious, the church, the big systems, the churches and stuff to do people. I really do. Look at the Mormon church. You have to pay them. You have to pay first. They're the middleman. Okay. You don't need a middleman to be spiritual or talk to your God or whatever. Okay. That's like a troll. You got to pay the toll. Anyways. And so they're like, I am the only one that can on this entire planet that can, channel. That's what it is. Channel God's message to you. Okay. And I can tell you what to do. I can use these things to manipulate you, to exploit you to all the way down to the spiritual aspect. You got financial, it's monetarily, it's spiritually, it's emotionally, sexually, all the things, and they get you on every point, and they it's so gross. It's sad, really, because and this has been going on for years. I mean, for millennia, I'm just saying. It's again, I really didn't set out to go this. I wasn't looking for this, and I'm just like, okay, so they're ushering in the new world order, so to speak. I know I'm probably going to start having one of them things under on my videos where it's like Britannica, oh my God, because we're censored, but whatever. It is what it is. It needs to be out. This needs to be out, but it's not going to be picked up by the mainstream. It hasn't. I mean, I've been asked by Julie Grant with Core TV last year, if she could interview me, and I was like, I was just being open, right? I'm just going to tell you. I was like, do you want, because I research a lot of really gnarly stuff that isn't so mainstream, and I was straightforward with her, and crickets. Okay. Who do they have on there? Adam. But I do like that Megan goes on there and John DeLynn, and they battle Mike King. Another one. And Adam, and I mean, just it's like because they protect the system. Okay. They're like, oh, and they are victims too. Mike, not Mike, Adam and Rex and Summer. The one conversation I had with Summer last year, and it's only because she made eye contact. I was like, no. We're sitting in the courtroom at Lori's trial. And she turned around and she was like, I'm sorry for your loss. And I was like, thank you. I'm sorry for yours. There's a time and a place for everything. That was not the time or the place. I wasn't trying to get locked up, or maybe I should have. But, and I was like, it's the second anointing is what I told her. And she was like, well, I can see how you got there. And I was like, oh, no. This was not like a debate. I wasn't like trying to posit anything. I was just letting you know what I know. And yeah, and the death gnats are hiding in plain sight. So anyways, it just I have a problem with people that are on the inside of the system and are victims as well, and aren't really being, they don't either. They're just not there yet. Their shelf hadn't broken. It's not harmful to them because it's all they know. So until they can get away from that system and realize how harmful and how much it goes in, I mean, that's sad too. Because I mean, I don't wish that on anybody. I really don't. It's not like I'm like, okay, we're gonna just break some shelves today. We're gonna make people lose their faith or whatever. And nobody can make you do anything. First off, can we just get that out the way? It's like divorcing somebody. It's like, nope. Lori didn't make Chad, or vice versa. They didn't make each other do anything. They already wanted that. They were already seeking that. The quiet quitters, right? Or the physically and mentally out even, but at least it's like different, a sliding scale, or a spectrum of belief even. I mean, still, I'm not even Mormon, and I'm just like, oh my God, I have kind of been doing the same thing with my own belief system through studying and researching into the church. It's not my religion, but I mean, still, you're just like, oh, yes, he does. And a lot of it is about satanic ritual abuse. Ray noticed totally. And he was actually on the original task force, the ritual abuse task force in Utah. Wrote a book about it. Cult leader. So he is now a cult expert. Oh, not today, Satan, not today. And I mean, again, no. It's like, I don't know. It's such a horrible situation to be put into, because how can I but appreciate, oh my God, how can I appreciate what law enforcement, those officers, and everybody that pulled those babies out of Chad Daybell's backyard, and the stuff, right? That's the human in me. That is me just going, oh my God, so that's that. Okay. Then you have Rob Wood. You have people who protect the church, straight up protect the church at all costs. Why? Tylee and JJ's murders I'm just right there. Just drop a pin right there. They weren't enough to even shake them and make them see that the system they're in is so harmful and did it to those children. So it's like, it's not the time yet, like that's not it. It's not going to shake that person awake or get them to realize what they're in and that they're contributing to the very thing that's killing kids and people. Is so weird. It's just a big circle jerk. The mayor. Oh, I just saw the mayor. And so I was telling Donna earlier, the mayor of Rexburg. Ay, ay, ay. This is my jacket. All right. This was given to me. Right. Oh, here it is. Nice jacket, right? Oh my God. And so the city of Rexburg, established in 1883. Okay. But the mayor has also been on the same speaking events as Jason Mao. And I'm just saying it's so bad. And I mean, so it's like, who's good or who's light and who's dark? Now I sound like them, but I'm joking about that. Right, Laura, it's those things right there. It's those things right there. I'm not going to pin it, but, I don't know. It just also, there's another thing that kind of happens, where I just kind of notice things in my peripheral vision. And so my JJ and Tyler were missing. Everything was fucking turned upside down. Everything is like a blur for like a year. I don't remember 2020 hardly. We had 2 hurricanes, a tropical storm in between that. We had my fiance had a thoracotomy. They removed the bottom portion of his right lung just as coronavirus was coming out of Wuhan. And I was just like, what the fuck? And the kids are missing. It's like Trauma Tour 2020, cray. It was just nothing but a trauma tour, but that's their goal. They want to, this is the goal of these Satanists, these accelerationalists, these Tim Ballards, these all these people. When they cause trauma, when they instill fear, and it causes us to just be like, oh my God, like we freak out, we panic, we want calm, right? You just want to get to the damn calm so you can relax. But they keep it going, and it causes us to not think right. Okay. We're easier to be controlled. We're easier to be taken advantage of. Why do you think they go in? Like Jason Mao, he's a paramilitary, whatever. BlackRock's up in here. Okay. So just, there's that. And Jason Mao contracted for anyways, they rush into these vulnerable areas where there's children without parents because they died in the earthquakes or the tsunamis, or Jason Mao came down to Hurricane Katrina, and I'm like, oh shit, making victims all in their wake. And it's just like, how the fuck do they get away with it? They prey on people, PREY. And I don't know. It's crazy. Haiti. Yeah, definitely Haiti. The whole, and I hate to say this, but the whole Gardy Marty story, I'm like, because the bishop of that Haiti church or whatever, of the Church of Jesus Christ, you can fill in the rest. I think he's in on this, and I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But I'm just like, wait, you don't just, because I'm thinking of Tyler and JJ were missing. If the cops or if the police, law enforcement would have never found Tyler and JJ, I cannot imagine myself. And I'm just the aunt. I'm just the aunt. I couldn't be like, oh, well, Tim, it's okay. I'll sacrifice the one just for you to be able to do this noble cause. That doesn't make sense to me. It's like the whole jab thing, you know, I was just like, what? You want to, what? I get to spin the wheel and maybe win $1 million if I get something that's going to save my life. What? It doesn't make sense. You know, it's like, I don't need incentive to not die. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's so crazy. And then so many people are just like, oh my God, you know, and then it causes division, you know, the race wars, everything. I really think that they make this shit up and then gaslight the hell out of us too. On your way to 808. Oh, I forgot there's an 808 here. What about letting children change their sex and gender? I mean, I don't have any say so over that, you know. Oh, I don't know how you're asking that, but I just don't we don't have control here. All we have control over is how we react. How we conduct ourselves when we react, you know. Um I don't know. I just think that like we just really need to be aware and not be so labely. You know, I did not learn labels until the kids were missing and I was like, "What? Orthodox? What is that?" You know, I didn't know all these things. Never, it's not they just weren't in my vocabulary. I never had to sit here and think about these things. And every step of this way is nothing but learning the labels. Okay? If they're not for us, they're against us. It's that kind of mob mentality. It's that mentality, black and white. If you're not supporting Tim Ballard's cause, then you are a freaking pedophile. Okay. And they will go at you. Y'all have seen it for yourself. I know you have. And some people just don't even know this yet. I saw somebody comment the other day. They were like, Tim Ballard, I mean, the Sound of Freedom movie. And I was like, and it sucks, right? Because there goes that little piece of that person's worldview. But here you go. You know, at least you can be aware of it and not be duped, and you can help other people not become a victim of it. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got a long day tomorrow. We start back with Garth. I know. I don't even know. I kind of took a long time to make the thumbnail to even schedule it to not even really. I don't have it together all the way. I am just a ant. I'm just kidding.
Actually,
But
it's going to be, I'm sorry.
God dang, girl. You got that. Speaking of trauma.
I have a deep voice like Brutus.
I do too right now.
Joe Murray is on the stand in the morning.
Oh, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Thank you. Wow. Misinformation right here.
That's
You heard
okay.
it here first. Anyways, y'all have a good night. And I mean, just the mental gymnastics this is just my experience. The mental gymnastics it has taken to try and follow the way that the narrative is being put out there. It's so much easier to just be like, okay, so they're sacrificing kids. So they're okay. You know, and so I'm just like, okay, well, that makes sense. You know, it's boom, boom, done. And now you can get to the meat of the matter, you know, but all the misinformation, disinformation is, I mean, some of it's by mistake. Some people, I make mistake. I just did. You saw it here first. But these people do it on purpose or ignorant, either ignorant or they know better. I mean, it's what they do. So just your gut intuition. Don't ever discount it. If you feel scared, listen to your gut. Go the other way. Don't let them control us. Right? All right. Love you guys. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Thank you again, Donna. Thank you, mods. And thank you all for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button. I feel so stupid saying that, but you know what I'm saying. Please help me fight against the algorithm religion, the religion of algorithm. There you go. So that way the information can get out, you know. All right. Bye, guys.